the time 1998 rolled around, WWE was in full-on Attitude Era mode. Steve Austin was WWE Champion, Vince McMahon was the evil corporate overlord, and people were talking about their privates with reckless abandon. What a time to be alive. Unfortunately, this didn't always translate to stellar in-ring wrestling. Whilst the characters and storylines might have been great, what went on between the ropes still left a lot to be desired. I'm Adam Pacitti from Cultaholic Wrestling, and these are the 10 worst WWE matches of 1998. Join us! Number 10, The Disciples of Apocalypse vs LOD 2000 at Fully Loaded in Your House. The Road Warriors are often considered one of the greatest tag teams of all time, and quite rightly so. Hawk and Animal were absolute megastars in their heyday, plowing through the competition across the country with their trademark combination of power, speed, and no-selling the hell out of everything. Unfortunately, these spiky-shouldered legends couldn't parlay their success elsewhere into a truly spectacular WWE run. Take, for instance, the time they came back as Legion of Doom 2000 and had a feud with their ex-manager Paul Ellering and his new team, the Disciples of Apocalypse. DOA, here represented by the Harris twins, seemed to be a good match for LOD on paper. They were both big, they were both powerful, and they both rode motorcycles. What could possibly go wrong? Well, pretty much everything, because this match was super boring and went on for way longer than it should have. Chuck in a boatload of Ellering interference and a finish that incorporated some good old twin magic, and you have a recipe for one giant waste of everybody's time. Oh, what a disappointment this match was. Number 9, The Undertaker and Stone Cold Steve Austin vs Kane and Mankind on Raw. The first Hell in a Cell match from Bad Blood 1997 was an instant classic that gave the world the debut of Kane. The third Hell in a Cell match from King of the Ring 1998 is one of the most famous wrestling matches of all time, thanks to the 2 huge bumps Mick Foley took off the top of the structure. As for the Cell match that came in between those two, well, on the June 15th episode of Raw is War, just 2 weeks out from King of the Ring, WWE decided it would be a good idea to throw everyone involved in the big matches on that show into a metal box and hope for the best. Taker doesn't show up for most of the match, leaving Austin to fight off his 2 opponents on his own, outside of the cell. So why is it there then? When Undertaker did appear, it was to attack Paul Bearer, who wasn't even part of the match. In the end, Austin picked up the win, but only after Raw had gone off the air. Number 8, The Godwins vs the Quebecers at No Way Out of Texas in Your House. The age-old rivalry between Quebec and Arkansas came to a head when these 2 representatives took each other on at the first ever No Way Out pay-per-view. There isn't really a rivalry, by the way, that was just a joke. I don't want anyone from either of those places to come after me, please. The Godwins, Henry O and Phineas I, went to war with Jacques Rougeau and Pierre Oulet in a match that had almost entirely been built on Shotgun Saturday Night. Since the number of people who had seen the build to this match rounded up to about 10, there was absolutely no heat to this tussle whatsoever. One team hit a move, the other team hit a move, the other team dodged a move, rinse and repeat until the pig farmers won the day. 0 consequences, 0 excitement, 0 redeeming features. Number 7, The Headbangers vs the Oddities at Rock Bottom in Your House. The Oddities were, well, an oddity in WWE. Comprised of Golga, who was the former Earthquake under a mask, the Giants Silver and Kurgan, these 3 huge men were at various points associated with the Jackal, Sable, and the Insane Clown Posse. They were around for less than a year, but got on multiple pay-per-view cards across 1998. One of them was Rock Bottom, a show that more than lived down to its name. Once again, this bout had absolutely no heat behind it. The crowd sat on their hands for most of the duration, only getting involved sporadically as the 2 teams played it very safe. It all came to an end when Mosh blind tagged himself in to hit a top rope something on Golga. He sort of just jumped on him. There it is. Number 6, The Undertaker vs Kane vs Stone Cold Steve Austin at Breakdown in Your House. The Breakdown pay-per-view from September 1998 began one of the strangest time periods in the history of the WWE title. From the end of this Night to Survivor series in mid-November, the title was held by nobody. It was just vacant for 50 days. That's longer than Bray Wyatt held the belt for, by the way. This happened because this show's main event had a screwy finish as a result of a screwy set of rules. Steve Austin, who was fully into his terrorizing Vince McMahon phase, was defending the belt against both Brothers of Destruction in a triple threat. However, per the orders of Vince, Kane and Taker weren't allowed to pin each other. If Vince really wanted the title off of Austin, then why did he restrict the number of people his two opponents could pin? Makes no sense. This stupid stipulation complicated what should have really been a very fun match. Instead, it was broken up by endless bickering between the two brothers, and it ended when both men pinned Austin at the exact same time. A bad match that many thought made Austin look a bit weak, Kane and Taker look a bit stupid, and threw the company's top prize completely out of whack. Good job, everyone. Number 5, the Oddities versus Kai and Tai at SummerSlam. Hooray, the Oddities are back! And this time, the enormous giant Silver is actually wrestling. Oh joy. Because people being different is the funniest thing in the world to Vince McMahon, he decided to book a 4-on-3 handicap match, pitting the trio of behemoths against the light heavyweight stable Kai and Tai. Taka Michinoku, Shofu Naki, Men's Teo, and Dick Togo were all very talented wrestlers, but never got the chance to really show that because WWE thought anybody under 6'4" was useless. Instead, they were put into this comedy match and made to bump around for their much larger opponents while very occasionally getting on top via double, triple, or even quadruple team attacks. What might have made for a fun little squash match got super old super quickly. Honestly, this just more than outstayed its welcome, clocking in at over 10 minutes. That's longer than the Lion's Den match from later on in the night. Number 4, The Undertaker versus Kane on Raw. No storyline in the history of professional wrestling has delivered so strongly on lore and so poorly on actual matches as the twisted tale of the Brothers of Destruction. After going straight for Undertaker upon his arrival in WWE, Kane challenged his brother to a match at WrestleMania 14. This would be one of the only really good matches the pair would have together, maybe even the only one, unfortunately. That didn't stop the pair from fighting a lot throughout 1998 though, including this ill-fated casket match on the October 19th edition of Monday Night Raw. What started out fairly promising soon descended into a big confusing blob when both men ended up inside the giant casket at the same time. They then started fighting inside of it, although it kind of looked like they were doing something else. After that, they broke the casket a little bit, got back out, carried on fighting up the ramp, and headed to the back. There was no winner declared, and the whole thing just sort of fizzled out. Oh, and this was all happening while Stone Cold Steve Austin was holding Mr. McMahon hostage, by the way. The Attitude Era was a weird time. Number 3, The Undertaker versus Kane at Judgment Day in your house. The month after the triple threat at Breakdown, Taker and Kane fought one-on-one to determine the new holder of the vacant WWE title. Mr. McMahon had inserted Stone Cold into the mix as the special guest referee on the grounds that he wanted to humiliate Austin by having him count the pin that was going to cost him the title. A nice idea in theory, but it also did give power to the one man who hated Vince more than anything in the world. Not smart. In a move that surprised absolutely nobody, Austin ended up taking matters into his own hands, leaving both Brothers of Destruction laid out while he countered the pin and declared himself the winner. Another screwy finish, another month of having no WWE champion. Ah well, at least WWE didn't do anything really stupid like, I don't know, set the ring on fire. Oh wait. Number 2, The Undertaker versus Kane, Unforgiven in your house. 1 month removed from their gothic epic at WrestleMania 14, the two satanic siblings tried to one-up themselves and it went so wrong. Unforgiven 1998 was home to the company's first ever Inferno match. Unfortunately, this was not the company's last ever Inferno match because this stipulation never fully lives up to its promise, does it? When two wrestlers are trapped inside the ring by a cage, at least they can use their confinement as part of the match, as a weapon or something to leap off of, for example. But there was no way they could do this with a ring of fire unless they wanted to get seriously hurt. Yes, the match had its moments, the Undertaker dive to the outside was pretty spectacular, but the stipulation severely limited what these two men could actually do. Combine that with the pair's lack of in-ring chemistry and a runtime of 16 minutes, and that is a recipe for one boring match. Not even Kane getting his arm set alight could rescue this torrid affair. Number 1. Too Much versus Al Snow and Head at King of the Ring. Following a stint in ECW, Al Snow was on a mission in 1998 to get a job back with WWE. He enlisted the help of Jerry Lawler in his quest, who said that he could sign a contract if he beat the team of Too Much at King of the Ring. Too Much, by the way, were the proto-form of Too Cool. Scotty 2 Hotty was called Scott Taylor, and Grandmaster Sexay was called Brian Christopher. You can see why they changed their names. So, Snow needed to find a partner for this match, but there was nobody available. Nobody. See where this is going? That's right, Al actually teamed up with his favorite detached mannequin head for this match. Al would wrestle normally, and then when he tagged Head in, he would run around bonking people with it like it was alive. This really happened. In the end, Christopher attached a bottle of Head and Shoulders shampoo to Head so that he could pin it. Do you get it? Because it has shoulders now. Genius. Some people will love this match, and even though we totally respect their opinion, they are definitely wrong.